Hello, I'm Tony Torres. Welcome to the Defense Lab Tactical Online Video Portal. As police officers and police officer trainers, you very well know that more and more each day we face more violent criminals. More and more officers are being assaulted, and those assaults are even more violent to this day. We're also facing the problem that academy training does not prepare the recruits properly to face that violence. More officers are losing those fights. Let's face it, the training provided to police officers at academy level is failing across the world. Some recruits have never been in a physical confrontation for their entire life. They are either afraid or incapable to make proper use of force decisions. There has to be a way to intelligently and safely train those officers and provide them the physical courage and tools they need to perform their jobs. Problem 1. Controlled tactics will almost always fail in out-of-control situations. Sir, get on the ground. Get on the ground. Sir, you need to come with me. Get on the ground. Problem 2. During a real assault, the ranges compress very quickly and they don't allow the officer to have the room he needs to apply his tactics or to resort to alternate levels of force. Sir, is there anything I can do at this moment to... Sir, can I please... Sir, do you have some ID on you that I can see? Problem 3. Too many departments are teaching sport-based tactics that are too difficult to learn and also can put the officer in dangerous positions during the altercation. Defense Lab Tactical is behavioral self-protection. It is based on the behaviors that are normal to defend ourselves against an attack. And it's also based on the tactics and behaviors that suspects use when they're about to attack an officer. Let's take a look at this video.
Put your hands on the car. K-32, come over here. Put your hands on the car.
I placed you under arrest. I'm not going to let you go back to that vehicle.
In order to be able to apply their tactics, officers must overcome the 4 pillars of resistance. They are, in this order, impact, pressure, chaos, and stress. Let's talk about impact. Other than with weapons, you guys already know that police officers are assaulted with fists. One of the ways that we get assaulted with fists is with the repeated dominant arm punch. This is utilized when a predator wants to end the officer. They'll repeatedly throw at a high rate of speed, fast punches in order to knock the officer out. Another way officers receive impact is with the infamous windmill. This is where the suspect has his axis forward and continuously repeats haymakers from either hand, occasionally repeating one side as they're driving forward, keeping their head down. The last way we receive impact is with the reverse windmill. This is mostly used by people that are in a defensive mode. They'll keep their head back as he's swinging, and he is more of a defensive posture. He's trying to keep the officer away from him as he's swinging with his punches. The next pillar is pressure. Pressure is any pulling, pushing, squeezing, shoving, or any type of unbalancing of the officer. It's usually represented by headlocks, bear hugs, and tackles. Let's look at the headlock. Sometimes the suspect misses a punch or the punch hits, it's not strong enough, and they default to a headlock position. From here, they try to throw the officer to the ground, and the suspect grabs the officer here, perhaps punching him some more or reaching for other weapons. Another way we experience pressure is with the tackle. When both the officer and the bad guy are about the same height, what happens is if the suspect lunges at the officer, he's going to come around somewhere around the waist or the legs in an attempt to throw the officer to the floor. Lastly, under pressure, we have bear hugs. The bear hug happens when the suspect is probably a lot taller than the officer, and they decide to lunge towards the officer in order to put them down. They collide around the chest area, and that's where you have your bear hug. Another way we experience pressure is with the infamous gun grab. He can grab at my gun with one hand, it can happen with two hands, but he might also be grabbing other tools around your belt. A baton, a taser, or even pepper spray. It's a weapon grab in general. Something else that can happen is he may tackle first and then he decides he wants to grab the weapon. And it can be again with two hands or one hand. The next pillar of resistance is chaos. This is the one we all know about, but we never see it trained or prepared for in the academy. It's the constant changing of circumstances. The suspect can go from punching to headlocking to tackling to grabbing our weapon, causing this continual motion and chaotic environment. These drills will prepare you to respond to those environments. The last pillar of resistance is stress. Stress is the mental and emotional response to impact, pressure, and chaos. This is what can cause an officer to go in a downward performance spiral and lose the fight. The drills that you're about to learn to teach and perform are designed to help officers survive bad situations. They are task-based and focus on function rather than form. They are designed in a use and discard progression. That is to say that we're going to train the officer until they get good at one and then immediately discard that drill and move them on to the next level of resistance. The resistance is very progressive. We start with 0 to almost no resistance, and then we'll move into higher and higher levels of resistance focused on those 4 pillars. We will add more impact, more chaos, more stress, and more pressure.